It's another great Monday
morning
on the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
What was she?
Pregnancy brain.
Yeah.
Didn't take long to bring
She
the pregnancy.
found that excuse to latch onto
it
that
didn't take
real
long.
quick.
Start talking about the baby.
My brain doesn't work
Took a
that
whole
well.
3 seconds
Has nothing to
bring
do
up the
with
Yeah.
that. Stop it. It's the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage. Wow, I've missed you guys so much this past week.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk a little men's basketball, women's hoops, rolling. Have a little spring ball talk from the offensive coordinators last week. And we have head coach Dot Richardson, which you know that you're going to get a little Monday motivation.
She brings it.
It's softball. Hey, softball is getting it done right now.
Top 25.
Playing that tough out of conference schedule, talk all about it, and just getting it done. Got a big game coming up here. Man, big games. And regional games too. Hokies, Cavaliers, the Blue Devils, ACC games. I mean, come on.
It's going to be fun. And we also have to talk, gosh, I just like my brain just.
Let me take this real fast. Hey, we want to do, this is our last week. We've been asking you, our loyal fans, to email us at flamecentral@liberty.edu. Tell us how you either watch or listen to the show, YouTube, Spotify, whatever, and you'll be entered into our new mug giveaway. We're still waiting on them to show up. They're on a slow boat from China.
Joe said that they've been ordered, so I think.
They've been ordered.
We're still waiting. But this is the last week, so if you haven't sent us an email yet, flamecentral@liberty.edu, go ahead and do that. Let us know how you take in the show, and you'll be entered to win a mug. Now, I did have an idea. And I want to run this by you guys.
We don't know
Run this by us now?
Yes. Yes. So you know how we love a good giveaway or a good contest, right?
You know how I am about my giveaways.
I know. And so I thought after we do this mug giveaway, we could have another mug giveaway where, and Emily
You're talking
knowing
back-to-back mug giveaways.
Yeah, we can space it out a little. Knowing that sometimes you struggle a little bit with decisions, I wanted to take something off your plate. Our listeners send us baby names.
Yes.
And what we do is, I assume Jason will be fine with this, we will draw the name out of a hat.
I like this.
And that's what you will name your child. And then that just takes that whole stress off your plate. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to spend time thinking about it. You just know, and we have a very smart fan base.
And more importantly than that is the person who sends the name and they get it drawn.
They get a mug.
They'll get a mug.
They'll get a mug. It works for everybody.
It's a win-win.
We're all winners here.
It's a win-win.
So we don't.
I was gonna do the tennis ball thing where like I throw 3 tennis balls and Stanley goes and runs and gets it, and that's the name that you.
So you're putting it in the hands of a dog.
No.
I'm thinking of other humans.
Stanley doesn't like to run much anymore.
I know he can't, so maybe that won't work.
How is Stanley doing?
Stanley is progressing. He is now in his final cast, I think. He still has like a cast on. Can you believe he's had a cast on since Thanksgiving?
That's unreal.
I mean, life has been really hard in the Cudd household. When you are sending in those names, though, you can't do a 1-syllable name with Cudd. Okay, it can't be like.
We can put parameters on it.
Yeah, it needs to be multi-syllable. Like, what's it like? Grace Cudd, go with Gracie Cudd. You know.
Right. I think you should name after former Virginia Tech defense coordinator Bud Foster. Bud
Cudd. That could be really good.
Actually, if it was a boy, that'd be a great.
The Bud Cudd.
Bud Cudd would be a great name.
That's a good.
That's for the next
I hope
one.
you guys don't enter in this contest. What I was going to say when you were talking about like all the games and all of that is there's been a lot of winning going on around Liberty Athletics. I mean, I feel like we talk about this a lot, but could this be one of the most winningest springs that we're going into in terms of like.
And everybody's winning.
Yes, softball takedown number 12, Alabama. So they're sitting number 21 in the nation. Baseball beat number 12, NC State in their midweek matchup. Swimming just won their 7th straight conference crown. Are we a swimming school?
We might be a swimming school.
We might be a swimming school. And then lacrosse. Lance Bingham will win his 13th or 26th straight, whatever. Then you have lacrosse that just had their highest ranked victory in school program history, which was over number 20, Richmond.
Yeah.
I mean,
this spring looks like it's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And obviously the 2 basketball programs are peaking at the right time of the year as well, heading towards the conference tournament.
Leading the way.
They are.
I cannot believe we are so close to that conference tournament. Holy smokes. I already have anxiety. One of the best interviews I did at halftime with Richie McKay was this past week. The nicest coach,
McKay. Kyler gentler McKay, since you said you were pregnant. I think he feels like he's got to kind of,
Oh, he was nicer.
Be a little bit nicer.
I sit down at church yesterday, and I'm not even sitting down 2 minutes, and the guy next to me goes, yeah, Coach McKay was like congratulating you? Like, what is he congratulating you on? You and Jason. And I'm like, yeah, he said little girl, and then he started rattling off some little girl names.
He said Richetta, I think is what he suggested for you to name her. Yes.
So we'll enter him into the mug contest.
He's got an email. He's got to send the email, though, to be officially entered.
So, that was sweet. But let's talk about men's basketball victory over FIU. FIU sitting at the bottom of the conference. We knew Liberty needed to come in and take care of business on Saturday for that midday matinee game, and they did so. However, the defense held them in this game because 18 turnovers on offense. I mean, very uncharacteristic. How do you think the Flames pulled things off?
Here's something I would say, because I've heard and seen some people that you win 58-45, and people do go 18 turnovers, most they've had this season. That's kind of immediately the first response or reaction. I would say this: you just held a team to 45 points.
Yeah.
Like I know that wasn't ideal, and FIU, their whole game plan is to try to speed you up, pressure you, things like that. These are games that Liberty's finding a way to win, even when they don't necessarily fire on all cylinders.
Right.
That, again, shows you how far this program has come from last year. There have been multiple games I've felt this year. Last year's team just doesn't win. Because if it wasn't all working, if they weren't hitting from three, it was going to be a long night. We've seen Liberty not shoot well from three in multiple games, still find a way to win. Turn it over 18 times. They lock down on the defensive end. They do enough to win. So I would say that is, for me, the bigger story in all this, because this team, it shows you how much better they are than a year ago and how they can win even when they're not perfect. And so that is, I would expect you're going to look back on those 18 turnovers as an aberration. Like, they had played UTEP the game before, who is typically the number 1 or number 2 in the nation in forcing turnovers, and I think they turned it over 11 times. So Liberty's been good taking care of the basketball. I think that's kind of an aberration. But the defense, that's what gets me more excited than anything.
Right.
You're starting to see Liberty really lock it down on the defensive end. You hold them to 45, the fewest points from any D1 opponent they've had this year. That's encouraging moving forward. Liberty's showing that now they have one of the top defenses, not just in the league, but in the country.
And let's always go back to what our topic's been before. Bench.
Absolutely.
Hey, my boy.
Your boy.
My boy, Xander Yates.
3 triples.
9 points.
Did what he needed to do.
I mean, bada bing, bada boom.
He is.
Almost 2 years.
And we said it during the game, playing with a confidence that we haven't seen. Yeah. Like, there's always, and you don't blame a guy who maybe didn't get a lot of minutes, where you get that open look and there's kind of that is this?
No.
Is this? No. There's no. He's shooting
Pull the trigger,
contested
baby.
threes.
Pull the trigger.
He's feeling it. You see a little extra swagger. Coach McKay said, listen, we had to have some talks. I needed a little bit more on the defensive end. It's kind of what he hinted at. We've seen that from him. Mm-hmm. But what he gives you on the offensive end, if he can knock down a couple of threes, he's got the little pick and pop, the little high ball screen. He just turns around the top of the key and just waits for it. Yeah. And he's getting 2 to 3 open looks from that spot every single game. And he's shooting 44% from 3 right now.
You knock those down, it's
the game changer.
It's a different world, because that those starters, they're going to hold their own. But if they can get that little bit of extra help, that's that. Hey, you're right there to not just being right there, but to cutting down the nets.
That's it.
More consistency from Talon Peter, who finished with a game-high 14 points. He just continues to shine.
Absolutely, and I want to point this out, too, because Zach Cleveland was scoreless in that game. First time scoreless.
You're getting 0 points from one of your best players.
Since last November. Apparently, sickness is running rampant.
Right.
He was really sick. Talon Peter was sick. Derek Johnston, assistant coach, wasn't there because he was so sick.
Owen Aquino was also sick in this game.
So between Aquino,
he only had 2 points.
Yeah, okay, so this goes back to my first point. Between Aquino and Cleveland, you got a total of 2 points from your front court, and you still win by double digits.
Right.
Again, that shows you how this team has improved. But yeah, hopefully you can get healthy, because you're going to need everybody playing better with a first place game. This is it. First place on the line Thursday night. Biggest game in Conference USA this season to this point is Thursday night right here in Lynchburg.
Yeah, after the game, head coach Richie McKay was saying, we don't, before the game at practice the day before, he said, we're not looking at the standings. We haven't looked at them in 2-3 games into conference play. But then he said in his post-game presser, we hope fans come out on Thursday because there might be some significance to that game. Yeah, that's for basically first place.
I'd like to give Richie McKay some advice.
I like this.
Oh, my gosh.
I like this.
Oh, Richie, I can't wait to clip this off.
I hope he's watching this. His press conference, post-game press conference.
With his grandson.
That's where I'm going. Oh. He had his grandson there. Adorable kid, right? Adorable kid. You don't bring out the adorable grandchild after a win. Yeah. You save that for after a disappointing loss that maybe one you gave away, right? Just to kind of because after that tough, we really lost when we should have won, that's when you bring the adorable grandchild out, because then everyone's like, oh, man, what a cute kid. It just kind of takes a little bit of that.
Over the edge.
Right. So I would save that for a tough loss, not after your 5th straight win. That's all I'm saying.
Coach McKay, I don't think you need any advice from Matt Warner.
It's strategic.
Just keep doing
it's
what
all
you're
strategic.
So, yes, big game on Thursday with Jax State coming to town.
Are y'all on the call?
We are on the call.
Are you?
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Fired up. Now I can walk down there and harass you.
You should.
Can't wait.
I will.
Can't wait. And it's Survivor night.
Oh.
So, I don't know what that means, but...
wasn't it Survivor that did Eye of the Tiger? It's not the band. We're talking the TV show, correct?
The TV show, I think.
Was we went to shirtless
fire
people walking around?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really
no
sure.
Clue. Let's hope not.
But Jax State physical basketball team, long, tall, gives Liberty a lot of problems. What do you think Liberty is going to need to do in order to get past Jax State on Thursday night?
So here's the headliner right here is Jerome Pierre, their star, probably the conference player of the year, the leading scorer in the conference at over 22 points per game. Liberty held him to 9 the last time they played. The only time this year he's been held in single digits. Since that point, he's averaged 28.5 points per game. Since Liberty last saw him, he scored 33 times. The guy is a just
walking
scorer.
bucket.
Absolutely. So that's the key.
So who would guard him?
I think you'll probably see some Moffmer on him. And Moffmer did a great job on Jaden Brewer here this past game, defending him. But remember from that Jax State matchup the first time, that was the game where Cade Matheny was 0 of 9 from the field. Did not score. And when he was asked, if you watch, he had a post-game press conference. They asked him about this game. Maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it. You saw something in Cade Matheny.
Let's go, Caden.
You saw a little something. No doubt he remembers that and how he played. I think you're going to get a great version of Cade Matheny in this ball game.
You're going to get Cade Matheny
Revenge
surviving on the island of Liberty Arena. Come.
What is this voice? What is this voice? This is like angry pregnant lady voice.
I know. Let's stay away from that.
Somebody give me another cookie.
I hate you. I hate you. Actually, I wouldn't mind a cookie right now.
But no, that to me is a matchup. Can you slow down Jerome Pierre? Can Cade Matheny get involved? And then the other thing is their big man, Mason Nicholson, is an absolute load. He is a huge, huge dude. Can you just kind of battle and keep him in check? But it's going to be a great matchup. Liberty has had their hands full with Jacksonville State. I think they've lost 3 straight to them.
And Coach Harper, I mean, he is.
Ray Harper.
He loves to win and beat Liberty. I have a feeling. I'm sure he likes to win every game.
Yes.
But there just seems something.
Extra.
Yeah, there's some added emphasis. We'll have Dot Richardson's interview here in just a moment.
By the way, last week we talked about tiebreaker scenarios.
Yeah.
Should Liberty and should Liberty beat Jax State? They finished tied atop the conference.
We win that.
The tiebreaker scenario, heard from SID Bill Smith today. Tiebreaker scenario is kind of like we suspected. It then goes to what's your win percentage against the next team, which right now is Middle Tennessee. Jacksonville State split with them. Liberty's 1-0 against them so far.
They played them the last game.
They played them. You're second to last one. Yeah. So if Liberty can win this one and then beat Middle Tennessee, I mean, you're getting down to where there's only, 4 games left?
4 games left,
So, every win now feels monstrous. So, Liberty has a real shot to wrap up a regular season crown if they can first start by getting.
I don't care about a regular season crown. I wanted the conference tournament crown. If that started today, right now, Liberty sitting at number 2 seed. Would play. Matt Warner, take it away.
Oh man, I told you, and then I forgot.
Give it to you,
oh, you didn't tell me. I forget what I told you.
Yeah, I wrote it. See, I wrote it down. Yeah. The mind goes. You know, it as the number 2 seed, Liberty would play the winner of La Tech or FIU. Yeah. If Liberty ends up being the number 1 seed, the Flames will play the winner of Western Kentucky and Sam Houston. Which matchup would you prefer, Matt Warner?
Well, I would probably.
This is, by the way, McKay called it the ACBA League. Anybody can beat anybody.
I like
this.
That.
I can't take the winner go home.
It's hard.
Well,
I can't take
life.
it.
That's life.
It's a life. That's, you know.
That's life.
That's a JPL tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate it.
It's
whole
tough.
season, and you just like mess up one game.
Here's what I'm gonna say, because you said something that I feel like a lot of Liberty fans would probably feel the same way. I want to try to change perspective a little bit.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Please.
If Liberty wins a regular season championship in Conference
body
USA,
of work.
Like, forget about like if you go, God forbid they go and drop their first game in the conference tournament.
Yeah.
This has still been a massively successful season. One team goes from this conference. One team goes. And if this is really the 8th or 9th best conference in all of the nation, which they say they are, to win the regular season is a huge accomplishment.
I think coaches a lot of times that put more weight on that.
Sure, you're right.
Because you're showing who our team is throughout our body of work.
Right.
But when you get into the tournament, it's like you say, oh, it's awful.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. When you lose one game, you're done. So what's more important to you as a team? To say that we were the 8th seed and barely won any games, but boy, we won the tournament? Or to say, look at our body of work throughout the season, and we were the regular season champs.
Sure, everyone would rather have the March Madness, one shining moment, all that. We would all rather have that.
No doubt.
And we got spoiled when Liberty went on that run of making it every year in the A-Sun. But like to judge where this program is and how good of a program this is, I'm with Joe.
Fine. I'm on too.
No, I know what you are. I know you know.
I want to survive.
But I think the health of the program and the status of the program is more determined by what you did throughout the whole course of the season. And hopefully you're able to finish that off.
Right.
But if not, it's not like, well, wasted you. No.
But you live on the edge when the come tournament. That's what makes March Madness so beautiful.
Fun.
And the conference tournament so beautiful is that it is. It's win or go home. The emotions are so high. And every Liberty fan is appreciative and great that you could win a conference regular season championship. But let's all be real here. Everybody wants to see him cut down the nets and go to March and be a part of March Madness.
No doubt.
That is number
right
one.
Now they're in
number one priority.
Great situation with the seedings, and number 1 and 2 both get that extra time off.
What did we say?
So
we said, you play that was it Wednesday, and then you would get Thursday off if you win that, if you're one of the top 2 seeds. So they position themselves well, especially with not playing a ton of guys. That gives them that extra rest.
Just a reminder, going into the season, Liberty was sitting tied for 5th with UTEP in the preseason polls. So it is.
Jax State is 8th, I think.
Yeah.
In the preseason polls.
Yeah.
Which just goes back. Did we mention that on the show the other day? Where it was like, I'd love to see what, I feel like the preseason polls and the actual outcomes at this day and age with so much player movement have to be like wildly inaccurate. We're seeing that this year.
Yeah, La Tech.
A lot of off-season
favorites.
activity. A lot of off-season activity. Changes things drastically.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs were preseason favorites, and then they're sitting at like 7th or 8th right now. So just crazy how everything is shaping up with March tournament.
But get out there Thursday night.
Yes,
like
please get out there
Thursday night. It needs to be packed. It needs to be loud.
It really does. It really does, because this is not going to be an easy opponent. The Gamecocks who snapped a long winning streak.
So that was back in, I think, 22. We had a 45-game home win streak, second longest in the nation. They came in here and drilled us on our home floor. So we have some history with these guys.
I got a couple things to bring about when you get a chance. Some controversy stuff. So whenever you're ready. I need a shout out and a controversy. No, it's totally off topic. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right, good. Just getting it out.
I never go off topic, so I appreciate that.
Okay. We need an off topic segment.
That's a good title for
Yacht
Off Topic
Talk
with Joe. Yacht Talk's off topic.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Okay. Real quick, we'll touch on women's hoops. They beat FIU on the road 73-57. 4 players scoring in double figures. So just getting closer and closer to that game against Middle Tennessee to see who, because Liberty's still, I believe, in second.
Yeah, we are. Second
even
place,
though they dropped
2
that.
games ahead of Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
I know it feels like we kind of just are all just like, get to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
But Liberty's, won 4 in a row. They are at Jax State on Thursday, at Kennesaw on Saturday. Jax State's second to last in the league, Kennesaw third to last. So if you win those 2,
there you go.
March 6th,
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee. You talk about coming out. I was actually told my wife yesterday, I'm like, make sure we don't have any plans. March 6th, we need to go to the game. That is the biggest game of the regular season for the women. So hopefully they can stay unscathed.
Everybody's rolling. Everybody is rolling right now.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Alcova Mortgage rolling. All right, hey, let's get to this conversation because softball is just
They're
off
rolling.
to a hot start. So
Come
let's
on
chat
now.
with Dot Richardson. Do we have a good guest on today's show?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
There
The
we go.
three-peat, I
Yes,
believe.
we do.
Yeah.
Dot Richardson. She got a little lost on the way, which, I mean, come on, Coach. Act like you've been here. You've been here how many times now?
You're a frequent visitor to this show.
Well, you guys
Friend
say
of the
this
show.
is my 4th.
Yeah.
It seems like my
Okay,
third.
Joe's having too much fun with the bobblehead.
Love the bobblehead.
Do I have to talk like this the whole time?
Yeah.
Coach, wow, you must be thrilled with this start to the season,
Absolutely.
sitting here with a 12-3 overall record. How does it feel to have such a, I mean, it's usually not like this to start this season, but wow, you guys have really, set the bar high to start.
Well, last year we were 1 out away from Super Regionals, which would have been in LA, and the players experienced it. And like I say that we tasted the appetizer and now we're ready for the entree. We're prepared to go farther than Liberty softball has ever been. And if that's the Lord's plan, it's going to happen. And right now it's just about the team coming together, which they have, great culture, and just getting the experience and playing the games to get ready for our conference play. And then as a result, hopefully win our conference and get a little farther than we have in the past.
So I love when a coach embraces like the big goals, right? A lot of times coaches will say, we're not talking about super regional. We're not going to talk.
One game at a
Yeah, right. I
time.
love when to hear that you're embracing that. Is it difficult then to take it back to the day-to-day, one practice or one at bat? Like, how do you balance the here's where we're going. We're going to go do this, but I also need you to focus on one pitch at a time.
Well, we handle that in 2 different ways. One is you have to have your goals, and I'm a visionary, as you know. And so the vision, what is the vision? For Liberty softball to be in the top 25 consistently. Getting ready to check that box, right?
Yep.
The other is to be in regional play, which we have 5. And of those 5, 4 of the 5 regionals, we have been in the finals.
Yeah.
And even 1 game or 1 out away from supers. So this is a very experienced team. And the whole thing is you have to have a goal, right? You have to have the vision, but then you have to know what it takes to live the dream. And living it is pitch by pitch. And we always say that every single game, right? Win each half inning, like win the innings, right? But the key is that this team is fun to watch. They are very talented, and they have learned to not worship the sport of softball, but let softball be their worship back to the Lord with the gifts they've been given. And that gets them to play with that freedom that, I've always wanted them to play. And it's a great coaching has helped get them where they're at, but also great determination amongst each other as well.
So when you get to the point where you're at like 1 out away, right? And as the better the competition gets, the margin of error continues to decrease, lower and lower. To get to that next step, do you point to specific things that you guys need to do? Like, hey, we do these things really well, but here's the devil's in the details. Here's where we really need to improve to get to that next step. What are those things?
Well, the one is that's coaching, right? I mean, you have to have the vision, and then you have to be able to get the talent. And then when you have players, how do you help them reach their full potential? And so for us, any sport or any team in the sport has to have it in the circle. You have to. Escobar took us a long way last year in postseason. She did an amazing job. If you watched our regionals in Athens, helped to beat Georgia, then got defeated pretty badly and came back for a competitive game, right? Only 2 hits going into the bottom of the 7th inning. So, but she needs help. And this year, Paige Bachman has stepped up in a big way.
Yeah.
And also our freshmen, right? Danner Allen has stepped up in a big way. And Yoder's going to get there. And Tyler Oob is going to get there. And then we have 2 others that are really preparing themselves well that might be big surprises towards the end of the season. And that's Katie Love, and then that's Haley McManus. So pitching you have to have in the circle. And if you have at least 1, you got a shot. You get 2, you can go even farther. You know what I mean? You get 3, it's a lot of fun.
All right, answer me this. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you about your pitching depth. I remember a day where it seemed like, oh, you have 1 pitcher, you just run her out there every day. And people even still say that. Like when you talk about baseball, softball, people always say, well, softball, all you have is 1 arm because you just pitch every single day. Is it still like that, or have programs gotten away from just riding 1 person, as much as they used to?
Well, you can't do it as much anymore because we have a lot more games that you're playing. Right? When I was at UCLA, we played 30 games. Now 56 games plus postseason. You can't do it as much. And then you're also playing a team, the best out of 3 series most of the time. But the tournaments that are starting us off right now, we're playing 5 games a weekend. Our home tournaments, we're playing 4, but that's a lot for 1 arm to keep doing that. So if you have 1 big arm, you have to be strategic of when you're going to play her, getting her ready for postseason. Do you follow me? But then you can't overlook, you have to get there. So to follow up with your question, I know I've been around the game a long time. And postseason, you got to get there first. So what is that? You have to win our conference tournament. But with the high rankings where we're at right now, you could get an at-large bid that we did one time, I believe, for maybe the first time in Liberty softball history to get that. But the key is that hitting it, a lot of times, man, we have the talent, but if the ball is either an inch fair or an inch foul sometimes. But you got to get to that point to see what direction the ball is going to be. So offensively, very solid. This is the first time I've been able to write from 1 to 9 and go, wait a bit, what about this player? What about this player?
That's a cool feeling.
That's a cool feeling. I remember when I put number 1 down and go, okay, where do I go from
now
here?
What?
You know what I mean? And so that is cool, really cool. But we showed we have to defensively, we got to get better, right? Because some of the mistakes we've made so far are going to cost us against the big teams, right? And we have a big game coming up with Virginia Tech, right? So we have to get our defense stronger, have to have it in the circle. And offensively, we need to just continue to battle with, they call quabs, quality at bats, right? And get our kids focused, Zoom focused, not focusing on a bigger picture. Right now, you have to do the little details. So,
Coach mentioned Virginia Tech, which is on Wednesday. I'm a sports reporter by night, but a meteorologist by day. 67 degrees for that game this Wednesday.
It's a heat
5 o'clock, I think, right?
Let's go. So, and the low's only like 40s, 45. So, come on, we've been in the teens. That'll be fine. So if you're in Lynchburg, be sure to check out that game.
But think about this. We have Virginia Tech play them home and away. We have Virginia, who's ranked high, playing them home and away. And then we have Duke, 2 games at Duke. Those are the 6 games that can help shape where we're at in regards to the potential of even hosting regionals.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
So in order to host regionals, you have to be in the top 16. You follow me? You have to. And right now, I don't know, ranking goes up, whether it's 21, 19. So those are the games that are really going to count in regards to us being able to consider hosting, or even us being able to get in at large if something,
you don't win the tournament.
Something results in us not winning Conference USA tournament.
How important do you think that in record-wise throughout when you look at this, how important do you think it is to host? Do you think that's a huge deal? Huge deal. So having that home field advantage gives you a huge deal. It's like you had to go to Georgia last year, and so you feel as if that is a big difference maker.
A big difference maker. I mean, our players are comfortable in the stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, waiting to be showcased in a big way.
Right.
Every single time we're going to host a conference tournament, we've moved to another
that
conference.
has happened to you guys. Yeah.
I mean, it's Stanley and I on that hill in the outfield right now, just soaking up some Liberty Regional softball.
I mean, Virginia Tech is going to be packed, right? Tennessee, when they're here, is packed. JMU, it was packed. Virginia, it's packed. But the rest of the world, really, they've heard about our stadium. They use our stadium in order to design their stadiums, but to showcase it in a huge way, it would be fantastic to do it. But that is putting the cart before the horse, because right now we're going to be preparing for Kennesaw State, our first Conference USA series, and we'll be hosting that after this next weekend's tournament that we're going to have. So,
who's your toughest conference opponents?
Well, Louisiana Tech had a big win. So they took down, Joe, who did they take down? They beat Oklahoma State. Wow. Yeah, so La Tech, and they beat Auburn. Okay. So we were right there with Auburn, had our chances, lost by 1. But La Tech, you have to respect them, and Western Kentucky, respecting them. I mean, respect everyone. Jacksonville State, they just had a big win. I wish I could memorize who it was, but it was a big win they had this weekend. So there's a lot of...
Sounds like it's wide open.
It's wide open, baby. It is.
Wide open.
Coach, you talk about the little details and coaching and how to get to that next level that this program wants to get to, but would you say that this is the most player-led group because you have more experienced players?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. First of all, just in the circle, we got Coach Fagan Graham is doing an amazing job with Coach, Kirby Nagel. They're all getting married, right?
Yeah.
Right? So we're all married on staff here, but they're doing a great job in the circle. And then Coach Fagan Graham with defense, and then Coach Sammy with the outfield and catching. But Coach Sammy, Harmon right now, she is doing a great job hitting-wise. I'm able to oversee it all, look and say, hey, we got to fix this. This is what we need to do. Get the team defense together, team offense together. But I can tell you that as these positions or units, they're all coming together and challenging themselves and helping each other. I was just smiling before our last tournament, because you'll have B-Rob sharing, this, with Rupi, or you have Jesser sharing this with Bryn, or you have just, they're thinking now, the mindset, the approach, all of these things. They're studying on their own and scouting. And when you have a team like that, the team is matured, they're experienced, and they're ready to conquer.
I want to ask you about...
Man, I'm fired up.
I know.
You want some Monday motivation. Bring Dot Richardson on the podcast.
I want to ask you about, you talked about Paige Bachman and what a turnaround she's had. But I want to talk about another player that has really caught my eye this year, KK Madry.
Yes.
She is leading your team in hitting 476, has 20 hits, 14 stolen bases. We knew, you've always said it, maybe one of the fastest players in the country.
2.5 from the first,
What has changed for her at the plate? I know here this past week I looked, she was like a month and a half ahead of whatever, she had like 12 hits in her first whatever, and it took her to like middle of March last year. Like, what has clicked for her at the plate that has allowed her to be your leading hitter so far this year?
Well, she worked over the summer, right, and knew the thing missing in her game is her mindset. And that's the challenge with softball and baseball particularly, like any sport, but those two particularly, because it is a mind game. You have the fundamentals, but also there's doubt or fear that creeps in. I don't want to let my team down, right? What do people think? Am I going to get a hit? Oh, I don't want to strike out. All of these, it's garbage. They're lies. But those lies will consume you if you don't have the mindset to positively, bring in this, commitment to get rid of the negative and bring in this positive, you know what I mean? And so that's the next move. And our kids are there. Like the team, their mindset is they're believing. Do you know what I mean? KK last year for probably half the season was at a .088. And then towards the end of the season started pouring it on. But she is the most talented player. I mean, you can't teach speed. And there's a saying like speed kills, right? If she gets on first, she's at second. A lot of times I can even steal her to third. She's that quick, right? I could probably steal her home. But the big thing for her is she's believing now. And she had some great hits this past weekend as well. So she can do it all. Quick bunt, she can slap, she can hit a home run. So yeah, she's definitely been a highlight.
Changer. That's a game changer for you guys.
No, don't talk about it, Dot. I want to see her steal around the bases. I want to see this thing.
There you go.
We're gonna steal home. First, second, third. Let's take it all the way.
Running, something
Why
Joey
not?
doesn't know about.
Why not? And if you're into the mindset stuff, then Matt Warner does teach a class called Master Class on Mindset. So
by Matt Warner.
It involves throwing a lot of equipment.
Yeah,
typically it's a little bit out of the box.
Yeah.
Like your typical sports psychologist stuff isn't really what the mainstream would accept. But
I don't know. Sometimes you got to get rid of a little anger.
That's what I'm saying.
He has a chapter.
That's what I'm saying.
Matt usually does that by throwing his pickleball paddle across the compound.
And then I'm
That's really
clear-minded.
He has a chapter called How to Deal with Anger Issues, and his philosophy is to get angrier.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes-
You know what? It's a little different. But it works.
Yeah. How do you put out fire? Fire.
With fire.
With fire.
Yeah.
Anger with more anger. Right.
Well, Matt, I'm with you because you
He's with you. Thank you.
you have to know
Yes.
what it takes for you to reach your full potential.
Yes.
What is it?
Blackout angry.
How much?
That's what it is. Yeah.
How much sleep do you need? How much? What do you have to eat? And one of the things is, if getting angry makes you play better, I'll help you get angry. Do you know what I mean?
That's why you're a great coach.
But some players,
You're like Coach Klein, Bobby
some
Boucher.
players cannot handle getting angry.
You're right.
Yeah.
I
And
can't handle a lot.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I would be a lot to coach.
Some have to be like,
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Kumbaya.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, I just got to be energy and loud and like, woo! But yet,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you
But
bet.
Matt Warner-
You're coming after us.
Matt
Thank
Warner's
you.
throwing his bat
Thank you.
across the
Thank you.
field.
On that note, though, you've been doing this. What year is this for you here now? 12?
12. Can you believe it?
Man. What area do you feel like you've grown the most? Obviously, softball's been a huge part of your life. You played at the very highest level. But coaching at this level, you hadn't really done until you got here as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
What area do you feel like you've grown the most over this time?
I think I've grown the most maybe with relationships, right? Like when I played as a player, I mean, I know the game. And it's like, but the key is I've gotten more involved in recruiting. And then when you're involved in recruiting, right, you get to know the players a lot more.
Sure.
In the beginning, I was like, okay, recruiting, like what, like, okay, you can see talent, but we can't always get that talent. So as far as teaching and instructing, just surrounding myself with great staff, it's like a family, right, as a staff, but also the players are feeling a part of it.
Rachel Roop was
know?
just on and saying the same thing about like Dot is just so consistent and just always there for you. You can tell it's rubbing off on the players and the impact that you've had for sure.
Yeah, but in the past, I wasn't the one I was recruiting, but it wasn't engaged in getting to know the players as well. And so now in today's world, it's like all about how do we mentor these young ladies, right? How do we help them become strong, godly women, that they have the audience of one, pleasing the Lord and giving the rest to him, right? He said that our yoke is heavy, but his is light. So we have to help them realize if you are not getting biblical truth, biblical advice, you're getting bad advice. You're getting worldly advice. So to be able to pour into them, that is another strength that I think I've been able to now feel strongly of doing. Talking about the book of Revelation, talking about how do we know that God exists? How do we know the Bible's inerrant, infallible, and inspired word of God? What do we have to be saved from? Why do we need Messiah? Is Jesus who he says he is? Or is he not? Like let's talk about these things. And to be able to do that and to pour into them more than just the game. Yeah. That is one of the things that I have grown a lot into. Because I always thought they got enough. I was told, they get enough in school. But the reality is no. It's about a relationship with Jesus Christ, right? It's not about
this place
religion.
So great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That's what makes this place different.
It's a relationship with him. And if he's not number one in the forefront, then we're doing the wrong thing. And we're doing the right thing, right? They're going to hear the word and they're going to know how much God loves us. And we're all sinners and fall short of the glory of God. How do we relate? Love God, love people. How do we relate to other people? Don't accept the sin, right? Love the sinner, not the sin, but the point is, how do we guide them in doing that? And this is just a ministry in sport that God knows that I love, right? Sport of softball, love it, love it, love it. And I can teach you all this, but if it's just about the game, no. It's about how do we develop as people, right? And how do we help teammates? How do we learn how to communicate with each other? Not just the texting stuff, you know what I mean? So we think about all of that. And I think it all, has made a big difference. And now look at the platform we're at, the talent that we're getting to come in, but not just that. We have transfers, as you're aware of, that are getting better. Like, you can look at their numbers and look where they are now. Why? What's the difference? And it's the environment, it's the culture, it's the people, but it's not being afraid to talk about what their fears are. We're all wounded. So how do we heal? And Jesus Christ heals. And that's the beauty.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Joe, you got anything else? Coach, you're coaching down at the Pro League in the summer.
Yeah,
My question.
Wait
a
go ahead.
second.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
It's a very
go.
important
All right,
question, Matt Warner. I'm the one who brought this up.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Do you need a Batgirl this summer?
Well, yes. Come on.
All right.
I was going to say.
I'm going to be out for the entire summer.
Well, that's going to be the case in the fall anyway. But when people saw that release, I think a lot of people did like what we did, which was the very first was like, like what? Like Dot's leaving? And then it's like, oh, okay. You're saying you're okay. All right,
it's only for a couple months.
They went off in the department in here.
Yeah. The sirens, panic. What led to you wanting to do that, first of all, and what excites you about coaching pro ball during the summer?
You don't have a lot on your plate, so you might as well just add something else.
I started a Pro-Am professional level, Pro Fast Pitch Extreme Tour, after softball was dropped from the Olympics and baseball years ago. And I started this model, and it's the model that works. It's a pro level that travels the country, and there's an amateur tournament at each of the pro tour stops. Right? It works. And I tried to hand it over to amateur organizations to embrace nurturing a pro level. And it just was hit by, a lot of roadblocks. So I said, okay, Lord, I'm giving it to you, right? When is the time for me to get involved? Because I feel we need a professional level that is not only self-sustaining, right? But it's impacting the sport, and people admire what it's doing, which is hitting the grassroots level up. And everyone looks at Major League Baseball right now in leagues. But if you look at any professional level that has been established over the past 50 years, they're tour models, right? A tennis tour, LPGA, right? With the golf tour, you've got NASCAR as a tour, professional bowling as a tour, professional bull riding, a tour, professional bowling. I mean, we can go on and on. So I believe that model. So an owner of a team approached me 3 years ago, and I shared the vision, right? And didn't hear anything. Well, he called me now and said, I see what you mean. Because you can have money and pour it in, but you're going to lose the money, right? So why is that? College softball is doing what they need to do. Audience, unbelievable. TV exposure. Why not get the next level as kind of an aspiration for young girls to go through college, get a great education, but for those that are at that elite level, be able to play professionally. So when I was approached, I said, all right, I'll be a part of this, which is the Florida vibe. Coaching is one thing, but the reality is, how can I help with a vision of helping sustain a pro level? And I don't know, we'll see where it goes, but there are 4 independent teams, and those 4 independent teams will be teams that will be playing, and getting approval, obviously, through the athletic department and everything else in HR. But it's awesome where the pros are going to be is where I was going to be recruiting as well.
Perfect.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So Colorado and other places like that. So it's going to be great. And Kirby is actually a picture
we
on
went
the
down
team.
there and did a story on her a couple years ago with the vibe. So
And the other one is Kara Caneto is on the same team.
That's right.
So we got some alumni. So it's going to be great. But I'm just trying to help get that next level going. And of course, making things happen here at Liberty is a priority for us. So let's get these kids a chance when they move on from here to play professional. I don't know, Rachel Roop might want to play, KK might want to play, Crane might. A lot of these players are looking for an opportunity past college.
Coach, last question from me. You have to make so many decisions with softball and coaching, like, I'm going to pinch this hitter late in the game. What has been like your best decision that was like, oh, I am so good, that like won the game, or that like you look back at that you're like, ooh, you weren't sure and you made it and you took a risk, but it ended up working out?
Well, there have been so many to this point.
She's like, I got so many.
Not that I'm trying to pat myself on the back or anything,
but when you have the personnel to do it, that's what makes it great. Like, I've been looking like, okay, the intuition, here comes a change, we're going to steal. I see the second and shortstop questioning who's covered. Okay, now's the time to steal. When to have hit and runs, when to put squeezes down, right, to produce runs. But I tell you, an astonishing player at this point, and she's unbelievable, Alyssa Hinault.
Okay.
Alyssa, I can tell you when she has come in to hit, she makes me look good.
That's a good feeling.
The hardest thing to do is to come off the bench and produce.
Yep.
And she has done it numerous times. I'm telling you, almost every one of her at-bats has been a quality at-bat. Look at even Watley, in the bottom of the lineup, being able to be strong. Jesser just had a breakthrough this weekend, yesterday, just ripping the ball. Look at Paige Dorr in left field, working with her. Her and Rupi are almost mirror images when you look at from hitting from the left and the right side. Their personalities, they're type 1s, right? The perfectionist. Those two have been able to help grow each other, which I hope Rupi's appreciating, mentoring a teammate to build the legacy. That's how you do it. And the two of them are giving KK this confidence of moving from left to center. I can go on and on, you guys. When you look at the lineup and you put it together, I'm like, okay, this one could be leading off in this, and then we can bring Alyssa in. So those have been really fun. It's been really fun. But again, it's really about the team just continuing to want to play the sport together, right? Just to see how great, not how good, but how great we can be and to enjoy it together, right? Yeah. So I always say, feel the ball, feel it, fire it, and guess what? Have fun doing it, baby.
Yeah. Let's do it Wednesday.
Awesome.
Top 25 matchup.
Wednesday, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech's ranked
at home, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. They're 23rd in the Softball America poll. We're 21. So top 25 showdown.
23.
Yeah. The weather is going to be perfect.
Beautiful weather.
Get out there.
Concession stands open.
I have a feeling this
Hot
is
dogs.
Which brings me to my next tease.
Popcorn.
We did some awesome hot seats with softball. Is a hot dog a sandwich is one of our topics, so you'll have to stick around
last
and see
thing.
that.
Now that you brought that up. The one that is going out this week is on superstitions.
Is Dot Richardson.
Now, Dot, you didn't seem superstitious, but maybe a little stitious. You said that you were like, you had some routine. When you played, did you have any routines or superstitions when you were a player that you always had to do?
Oh, yeah. There were some.
Yeah?
It's, first of all, if you have a routine and it's working.
Well, yeah, you don't mess
with it. You keep don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
But does it really matter what color your fingernails are? Does that really matter? Does it really matter what color your socks are?
Tyler, I put some.
Wait, you have one.
You got one hand.
What is that?
Yeah,
that's
so
like a catcher will do that to flash the signs. Yeah.
Are we doing some superstitions here?
No, Tyler was going to pitch a certain game, and she does everyone's nails. And I wanted to paint the nail just so runners could see, so you said 1, 2, it makes it easier. Yeah. And she was going to pitch, so I'm like, okay, I don't want to put her in the pressure of trying to finish because she does take pride in what she does. Yeah.
Dot only has one hand.
And then we won. So we're winning. She's like, oh, coach, you got to leave it. Yeah. So here I am.
Superstition.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was more on her side than my side. But I tell you, just different things, you don't always do it. I remember this one tournament. It was the first time the Orlando Rebels, the women's major team I was on, ever in the history of their organization, won the national championship. I had to have 3 peanut butter cookies before the game. But listen.
Oh my gosh.
We won the national championship. I was the most valuable player, first team All-American, best defensive player, best offensive player.
And you got to eat peanut butter cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. It's not like you're eating a kale salad as your super. Nobody does that. The cookies, that becomes the superstition.
It's always cookies or Skittles or Starburst.
But a lot of other people put it in you too, I mean, so they're like, oh, you miss a belt loop, you're not going to hit well. So one game I wasn't hitting that well, and I missed a loop.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
So guess what? I fixed it, and I got to hit.
There you go. See, it's science.
I know.
Yeah.
Hot Seat Superstition is coming out, I believe, today, so be sure to check that out. I have a feeling this is not going to be the last time that we have Coach Dot on the podcast. So
I look forward to the next.
We had you from the El Paso airport last year. Remember
that?
That's
right.
Yeah, we don't want to go. Tell me we don't have to think about that again. But yeah, thanks for
my
coming
gosh.
on.
Yeah, we're ready for the selection show.
Yeah.
And we found out we couldn't get out, the planes, everything. And the players actually started crying.
Yeah.
They were just, there's so much. I know there's no crying in baseball. But the tears were frustration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, they wanted to be back here. They wanted to celebrate it here.
And yet you made time for us.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
Dot, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys very much.
Dot.
You're awesome. I love the podcast.
Thank you.
Flame Central Podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Look at this camera.
It's
All right, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go Flames.
It's hard not to get pumped up hearing Dot talk about all of this, all these pieces that she has to work with this team. I have a feeling this is going to be the year. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but I have a good feeling. She talked a lot about mindset, and sometimes you have to get into a mindset to buy a home.
Yeah.
And Joe is just sitting there, and he's like, I got to give them the best deal.
Joe's a visionary.
I got to give them the best deal. How can I give them money back on their closing costs?
How do we win? How do we save people money? How do we do it? Oh, I got an idea. If you just if you're a Liberty alumni employee, staff, go to alcova.com/Liberty, and it's called winning.
Yeah.
We're just going to win.
That's
right? Hey, I have mortgage needs, and I need to win.
Yeah.
Right? Go get into the win column, conference championships, tournament championships.
Yeah.
Is this the part where you're going off topic?
Winning championships. No. Alcova.com/Liberty. Save up to $5,000 in your closing costs. It's an unbelievable deal. Spring market's coming.
It's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
It's starting to warm up this week. Starting to warm up. You watch out. All these people hanging out behind the hot fire for the winter, they're going to be out. So when you're out, come get pre-approved. Alcova.com/Liberty. Consider it done because it's almost too easy.
If you are a Flames fan, then Joe is your guy.
Yeah. No,
that's
if
why
you're
he's
a Flames
here.
Joe is your man.
Oh,
I like it.
There's got to be stuff that rhymes. We have to have some structure around here.
I like it.
Yeah, 67 degrees. Whew, that means spring is coming. So that means you need a new home.
Get out there.
All right, let's talk a little bit about, yes, thank you to Dot for coming on. She's always such a great guest. Baseball on the road this week at Duke.
Oh, please beat them. With every fiber within you, please beat those clowns.
I don't know if Duke's I think they're the Blue Devils. But, hey, they did it on the road at number 12, NC State. So we'll see how the Flames can produce on the road at Duke on Wednesday. So little good midweek matchups with some ACC teams between baseball and softball. Let's talk a little bit about the spring football now, because the spring game is on Saturday, March 1st. The best part about it, it's free, people. So bring your family out.
Come on.
Hopefully, I need a weather report.
Oh, you're not on it.
What is? I thought
you should have been on that.
This is your deal.
You should have been on that.
Listen, not only you out there, you watching practice.
65.
There you go.
Sunny and 65 people.
There you go.
Sorry
go out, get some player autographs, get to know the new guys, and get your first look at this quarterback battle. Yeah. And I can tell you.
Yeah. Are you going to say it?
Emily and I stopped by practice last week. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
They've got some guys that can sling it.
Yeah.
They've got some guys that can sling it. I was very impressed with what I saw.
Is there one guy in more particular that can sling it more than those? I mean, are you going to put it out there?
Look at Joe.
Are you going to put it out there?
Stirring up the controversy.
Or are we just going to come to the spring game and watch? See what happens.
I don't want the coaches to feel pressure to make a decision based off what I say.
You have a lot of influence in that staff.
Yeah, we're giving advice to Coach McKay. Matt's giving advice to Willie Korn.
I mean, I might pull Willie aside at some point and just say, hey, just here's what I've seen. Yeah. Take and do with this what you want. But
I would rather you pull Willie aside and go, Willie, What are you doing,
What
man?
What are we doing here?
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, just stop the charade. Yeah.
On a serious note, the Flames will not make a decision on the quarterback this spring because Berger and Bradford are both out with injury still. So that decision won't be made until
I think
fall
Chadwell
camp.
likes doing like he did in his first season. He likes waiting until that first game. He doesn't like giving anything away.
Just likes rolling them out there game one against Maine, which should be interesting. Newland Isaac, the thing I like about the whole, he was just saying like the support system with the quarterbacks, what he can see from afar from the room, just like if somebody's making a good pass or like just playing and practicing well, it's not just going through the motions. Like they're all running down there and celebrating together, supporting each other. But that being said, it is a competition, right? But that's what I love because you don't see, everyone runs away from competition these days. I love the fact that we're getting in there and we're battling out and may the best man survive.
Here's what I liked. Jacob Jenkins, press conference. You and I were sitting there. He was there with Aaron Finnemore. And he said multiple times what he loves about this team is everybody wants to work hard.
Yeah.
Everybody is getting after it. And he said that a few times in a way that like maybe we've seen a little culture shift. Year over year.
We didn't have that as much last year.
Everybody is coming with the same attitude of we want to work hard to prove something and and as Chadwell's been saying this whole spring, to earn something. Yeah. And he said that's different. The mindset is different. There's a lot less talk, a lot more let's go work. And that's encouraging to hear that from the inside and from a guy like Jacob Jenkins, who's going to be one of the leaders on this team, Aaron Finnemore, another guy who's a leader on that offensive line. To hear that that's what they're seeing and they feel like that is a difference, that's exciting.
You know what happened after the whole undefeated season? We all gathered in Arizona and everybody was, all happy and joyous. It's a bunch of back patters. Everybody's patting each other on the back and we're living in your bed. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to put that season behind you, that great season, and then you come in the next year and now it all changes around, doesn't quite go like. Now you're going to find out what you're made of.
Right.
Now you're going to find out what you're made of.
Yeah.
And what the heart and soul is.
I loved, Willie Korn said this too. He said, not even scheme. He said, we sat around and talk about when someone flips on a Liberty football game, what does a Liberty team look like?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Like not scheme, but like how do they play?
Yeah.
Like what do they do? Yeah. Like how do they celebrate? How do they like those kind of things? He's like, we are focusing on communicating to a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that's good as coaches, as players to kind of step back and reevaluate and be like, okay, we had success. This last year, maybe not as much as we'd hoped. Let's reevaluate. What do we want this to look like?
Yep.
And then you put that in place.
And let's be honest, the culture has always been great with Chadwell and his staff. But I think that last year there was a little bit of a lack of player leadership and all of that we are seeing this season or off season early, that guys are, holding each other accountable.
And how hard is it now, this day and age, to maintain a culture when you have so much turnover year to year? It is hard. Yeah. So they brought in a lot of guys who can play, but they also think are the right kind of guys that are embracing this. By the way, one of those guys, and I'm just going to give this, look for him on Saturday if you say Jamari Person, the wide receiver, number 3. Yeah. Dude's going to be exciting. Yeah. So the transfer from, I think it was Colorado State, wasn't it? He is going to be fun to watch at the receiver position. So
big shoes to fill with that number 3.
Number 3.
Jamari
Got some plays made in that uniform. Yeah.
Got anything else, Joe? Yeah,
I tell my. Okay, so there's off topic. This controversy, right? So yesterday I play in the Boonesboro Country Club Pickleball Championship.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's a big deal.
And so, long story short, it ends up being a 3-way tie because everybody had one loss, right? And so there's tiebreaker rules, whatnot. Well, the guy who's running it comes and says, Joe, you and Cleve, my partner, Cleve McGee. Okay. It was a great name, by the way.
That
Cleve
is
McGee.
Good, really strong.
You and my partner, Cleve McGee, you're first play. You're the champs.
Wow.
You're the champs. So I'm like, we're the champs. Country Club champs. They put the medals around the neck.
Oh my God.
They take the pictures with the paddles.
Wait, where's this?
They take pictures with the paddles.
Yes.
Right? And Cleve and I sit down, we're celebrating, we're hanging out, talking. And then he comes back and he says, it's a 3-way tie. What do you mean it's a 3-way tie? What are you talking about? And that's all I know. They call a three-way tie.
They took it back?
It's like, oh no, it's a three-way tie. What is this? For what?
Did you give the medal?
And I go, I guess everybody gets a medal.
Oh,
Matt.
Isn't that
it's an everybody
isn't
gets
that
a medal.
just what this culture is
So
now?
cute.
It's an everybody
It's
gets a
just
medal.
so
And I start
trophy.
doing the numbers when it all plays out. We had more wins than anybody. We're 5-2. Everybody else was 4-2. We put this. I mean, I'm upset about that. But it's okay. I say Cleve.
These are grown men at a country club.
I tell Cleve, my partner, Cleve McGee, Cleve, we're the champs.
They can never take.
We're the champs. That medal will be hanging at the JPL pool bar. Yeah. There is no doubt whatsoever.
I can see Joe just slinging
You
his
earned
sweet
it.
tea
You
across
earned it.
the country club.
Now, the other shout out I
Sunday
want to
afternoon.
give, it was unbelievable. I always give him a shout out at least once a year. Jared is now the associate head coach for the Huntington Foresters.
What?
Yes.
Right? Yep. So he's been promoted up to associate head coach. They're having a fantastic season. They're sitting at 22-6 right now.
In AIA.
And they have they're ranked, I think, 14th, 15th, somewhere in there. And they have a chance to be one of the 16 hosts for the national tournament. And listen to this one. You guys, give me the. You were
texting me about this.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. They were playing at Taylor. They were down 6 points with 5 seconds left in the game. They're down 6. They hit a 3 with 1.6 seconds left to put them down 3. So Taylor, all they have to do is throw the ball in. Throw it the other end. Catch it, it's over, right? Before they throw it in, one of their guy pushes off and he gets a charge called. So Huntington gets the ball back with 1.6 seconds left, and this is they drop the play and hit the guy in the corner, nails a 3 at the buzzer, sends it into overtime. Foresters win an OT.
Wow.
And so now they win the following game, and so they're going to find out here soon, hopefully, if they can host the national tournament.
The only thing that would make any of that story better would be if we were on the call.
Yeah. Oh,
Joe was on the call a couple
weeks ago. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. But what do you think the win probability is at down? If you're down 6, down 6 with 5 seconds
less
left.
than a 1%.
Wow. 0.1000 whatever.
Other events going on in Joe Yock's life. How is the wedding planning going for Gracie?
We're getting there. I mean, it's a quick turnaround.
It's a grind.
It's a quick turnaround. Yep. So June 28th. So
June 28th.
Things got to happen.
I'll check my calendar.
Things got to happen fast.
I have gotten a few RSVPs from viewers and listeners in that part of the country. So if you want to tell Gracie to expect.
Some Flame Central podcast.
Flame Central podcast.
Listen, the bottom line is if you show up, you get a mug.
Right. Joe's just traveling.
That's actually the wedding gift.
He just travels with a box of mugs everywhere he goes.
Yeah, just show up, you get a mug.
Can you imagine?
We'll just have them laid out in front.
Who
are these people?
Yeah.
If Joe put that at like the wedding tables,
like oh
my God.
Yeah. Who are these people?
I would kill him.
Yeah, you tell Gracie, hey, don't worry about it. I'm taking care of that. Yeah.
Just putting my touch on a few of the wedding details. Hey, thanks so much for listening or watching. Be sure to send in any questions or comments or where you listen or how you listen to the Flame Central podcast. Flame Central at liberty.edu will put you in for that mug giveaway. That is going to be, I mean, these things are going to be a hot commodity. So you gotta show us and let us know how you listen. You got anything else, Joe Yock?
It's the Flames. It's in Central Virginia, and it's a podcast. It's the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
We'll see you next week.